Today we are covering two grammatical points under Unit 2. That is, one is article. What is an article? And how it is to be used, where it is to be used. Second, what is the relation between adjective and an article? Whether article is an adjective or not. If at all it is an adjective, what is the difference between the adjective and article? Right? Why it is a determiner? These are the 3 points we are covering now. One is what is an article, right? And second is article versus adjective. Third, article as a determiner. Now, a common noun cannot stand without an article. So, what is an article? Article is a pointer. It shows. What does it show? It shows the noun. It is a pointer. It demonstrates. It shows it. So, it is a determiner. It determines. So, article, it is a determiner, it is a pointer, it is a demonstrator, right? And because we are using certain adjectives to show a certain thing, a certain man, or a certain place, or a certain article, that is called as adjective. Adjective which qualifies the noun. And here it is not qualifying, but it is determining, it is demonstrating, it is showing. Just like this pen. Pen is there, that is the common noun. And when we say this pen, we are pointing it out. It doesn't speak about the quality, it doesn't speak about the quantity, it doesn't speak about any other thing, excepting showing. Likewise, here we have an article. It shows the noun concerned. That too, many are the common nouns, not many. Common noun cannot go without an article. A boy, it is not simply boy. Boy, come, no. A boy, come. Right? Boy goes there, no. A boys go there, or sorry, a boy goes there, or the boy goes there. Cow gives milk, no. The cow gives milk. Why? These are all common nouns. And so we have to use an article. Common noun without an article, it doesn't go. Right? Now, article, when we have studied what is an article, it is a determiner, it is a demonstrator, it is a pointer, or it is showing a noun. And that showing or that pointing or that determining, it is of two kinds. One is definite determining and the other is indefinite determining. When we say the sun, the month, or the birth, the bag, the book, particularity shows about it. With a the, we are showing the particularity. It is it. This book means very particularly we are talking about. So, this definite determiner or definite article is the, the, or otherwise it is called as the. The orange. When we say the orange, that means a particularly one orange, we are showing it. It is demonstrated, it is shown. An orange, a boy, a cow, means any cow, any orange or any boy. It is not determined, it is not definitely said. And so it is called as an indefinite article. So here, article versus adjective. Articles are adjectives, but adjective is not article. Article, it comes before the noun and it points out, it determines, it shows the noun and hence it is an adjective. But adjective, it is not article because it shows the quality, it shows the quantity and it shows numerical and likewise it says. And now second, what is the second difference between article and adjective? First is, it talks about the quality and quantity. It doesn't talk about quality and quantity. It only points out. Now, the second difference. This always comes before the noun which it determines or which it defines. Here the adjective can be in front of the noun or after it even. When we say the boy is good, the boy we are writing here is good, and also we can write the good boy, the good boy. That way also, before the boy also we are using adjective, and noun, immediately after that noun there is a verb, after the verb we are using adjective. That way also we are using adjective, but that facility is not there with the article. It has to be in front of the noun. Now, article as determiner, it points out, it shows, and so it is one of the determiners. There are many determiners: this, that, which, those, these are all determiners. They show it. Likewise, these also show it, and so they are called as articles as determiners. Now, when we have seen article, what is an article, and definite and indefinite, and thirdly article versus adjective we have seen, what are the difference, how they are used in a given sentence, and here article as a determiner we have seen. Next, where to use an and where to use the. When we say an umbrella, here we have to see usage of you has come, and the sounding is vowelic sound. That is, a sound should be vowelic sound and the usage is vowel. Second, let us write one more thing. An honorable man. In class 9th, Mark Antony's speech, he says, Brutus is an honorable man. Right? An honor. Here it is not the vowel, but it tends to the sound of vowel. It tends, it gives way to the vowel sounding, that is the next letter O. Honor we are telling, honor, from here the sound should come. Umbrella, from here the sound should come. Then we are using an article with these two. Umbrella is a common noun, a man is a common noun, but before that we are using an adjective, honorable, and so before that we are using an, so it becomes an honorable man. Right? And now you see here, a 1 rupee note. When we say one, this sounding is not on. It is not coming from here. It is coming from the lips. One. Right? So here it is a consonant sound. It is not vowelic sound. Vowelic sound should be pronounced or it should be produced through your this vocal cord, that is vocal box. From here they should come. Kantam. From that it should come, from the kantam. Right? So here this is not coming from the kantam, not from the vocal box. It is coming from the lips. One. So it doesn't require an here. But here honorable, this honor is coming from the vocal box. So we are using an honorable man. While reading also, an separately, honorable separately, and man separately we are not reading, because these two are attributable to man. These two, an and honorable, these two are attributing to man. So these two in a string we have to read. While reading in a string, are we stopping anywhere? That we have to see. If at all we are stopping, there is a mistake in it. There is no stoppage, it is a flow, free flow, then there is no mistake. Nirma, free flows namak. Right? Likewise, it should be free flow. an honorable man, an umbrella, a 1 rupee note. There is no stoppage, you see, it is flowing. That is a test for you. It is not that rule, it is a test. Whenever we are writing correctly, we think we are writing correctly, you write it, you read it, you hear it, you feel it. 4 things. You write, you read, you hear and feel. Then, if you feel it is correct, it has to be correct. That means there is no person required to tell you this is right, this is wrong. So how to feel it? Whenever we are reading an honorable man, you see it has come in a flow, in a right manner, then your brain itself says it is correct. So, one more thing again I am talking about here, a and an, how we are placing before a particular noun. If at all the starting sounding of the word is consonant, a will come. If at all the starting sounding of a word is or a noun is a vowelic sound, there we are using an. Right? Now, university. University. Here, this is U, vowel. But this vowel is being read as U. It is not coming from here. U. And so here, it is a university. It is not an university. Right? One more, let us see one more thing. The swearing in ceremony of Chandrababu Naidu is an historical event. The swearing in ceremony of KCR is an historical event. You see, there is no stoppage in a complete sentence, it comes just like a flow. But here it is a H consonant. But even then, it is being pronounced as E. That means the next letter sounding we are taking. That is vowelic sound, and so an comes here. Remaining thing all we know. That is an umbrella we are telling, an orange we are telling, an ink pot we are telling, an elephant we are telling, and we are concluding that an has to be used with a word where it is started with a vowel. No. Where the word is started with vowelic sound. Now, after article, we count one more part of speech, that is preposition. Preposition. Right? What is preposition and what is its importance in our language? Do we have prepositions in our own mother tongue or not? That is what we are going to discuss now. Let us see the position, or let us see the importance of preposition, and that is in connection with English. Preposition, sentence, I go. There is a sentence. Now we got the meaning of it. Now I am just extending this sentence. I go to market. We have used a word to, and one more word I could able to bring, and then sentence has extended its length with two more words. Now here, third one, I go to market with a bag. Now I have used with, and with that we could able to add 3 more words to this the same sentence. I go to market with a bag to buy vegetables. Now let us see the 5th one. I go to market with a bag to buy vegetables from a greengrocer. Now, whenever we are extending a sentence, we have used a particular word. And here in this case, the particular word is to. And here in this case, to is already there, and with we have not. And third, here if you see, what we have here is to and with, also to once again, we got it here. And if you see the fifth one, to is there, with, to is there once again, and from we have used. So, in a nutshell, we can understand there are certain words which keeps the continuity of the sentence, right? And what are those words? Those are called as prepositions. Why they are called as prepositions? Is they determine the relation between the noun and noun, noun and action, noun or pronoun and the other part of the sentence. They determine the relation, and so they are called as prepositions. Why they are called as prepositions? They are always kept in front of a certain word. What is that one? Let us see here. To market. What is this market? It is a noun. It is, the to is placed in, that means in front of a noun. Here, a bag. Bag is again noun. In front of that, this with comes. Here again, to buy. It is a verb. Action. Action and bag. These two, relation is shown by these two. And here, if you see here, to buy vegetables from a greengrocer. From a greengrocer is a noun. Before a noun or before an action, this word is placed, and so they are called as prepositions, right? Now, these prepositions, that is to, with, and again from, three I have used here. These are called as simple prepositions. So, when I call as a simple preposition, do we have compound preposition? Yes, we have. So, how many types of prepositions we have are preposition? Number one is simple preposition. Examples are at, by, in, from, on, of, OFF of, in. These are simple prepositions. And now, compound prepositions. Compound are beside, beside, across, across. That means a sound, another sound. These two have been connected, combined together, and so it is called as compound preposition. Inside. Now, with, in, with, out. See, these are compound prepositions. And third one we have prepositional phrases. Phrase means, we know yesterday we talked about in our last class. What is that one? It is a group of words having a certain purpose and a complete meaning, right? It doesn't contain any verb. That is called as phrase. Here we have prepositional phrases. That means it may be containing prepositions and some other word. Let us see examples of it. They are in front of. We have two prepositions, this side and that side, and in between we have front. That front, it is of course preposition. Also it is adverb. It shows the position, in front of. And next, in case of. In and of, either side of it, and case, it is a noun over there. And again, in spite of. In and of, this side and that side, and spite is in between. And third one, by virtue of. By, of, and virtue, the noun in between. And likewise, with reference to. Reference is noun, with is this side and to this side. That is a prepositional phrase. There are many in accordance with, on account of. We can come across by and by. We are having many phrases. Those are called as prepositional phrases. Now lastly we have participle preposition. What is this participle? In the verb form, what we have? We have present tense, past tense, past participle, present participle, so called V3 and V4. Those should not be called as V3, V4. Verb has another form. It is not verb entirely 4 and verb entirely 3. No. Verb the same thing. It has form, present form, past participle form, and present participle form, and infinite form. Likewise, we have the verbs. So now, present participle with ing, run, running, go, going, get, getting. That way we have the ing form. That participle, present participle, sometimes used as preposition, and that is called as a participle preposition. Example we can see here: regard, regarded, regarded, regarding. That regarding has been taken, present participle has been taken here in the place of preposition. So how does this sentence stand there? I wanted to talk to you regarding that student. You see here, that student is a noun here, and I wanted to talk, action, these two, between these two it shows the relation, and so that regarding, though appear to be a verb, it is not a verb, it is a participle, and the participle preposition, here we are using it. So, preposition where it occurs, as I have already told you, the preposition occurs with the word which we are connecting to the sentence. In addition to the sentence, when we are connecting a new word, we are using the preposition. It is there. And most of the times we see it with the word in front of the word which we are connecting newly to the sentence, we are saying it. That means in front of it. And in many cases, whenever we are questioning, whenever we are exclaiming, there we are having this preposition at the end. Right? Do you know whom are you talking to? That way this to goes over there. Right? So, do you know with whom I am going? Do you know who I am going with? That way this with is put over there at the end. That way in exclamation, in interrogative sentences, this with or to, this preposition appears at the last stage. Now, let us examine few prepositional phrases. That is, on account of. See, the account, we know the meaning of this, that is separate. On is separate, of is separate, but when these three put together, they give, that is, on account of, we say for the reason. For the reason. Right? He lost an academical year on account of his failure. Because he failed in some subject, he lost one academic year. To say that, how we are putting it with a prepositional phrase, that is, on account of his failure, he lost an academic year. That way we are putting using the phrasal preposition or prepositional phrase. Now, by means of, by and of, these two are prepositions, and means a word has been used. By means of is a phrase, and now where we are using this by means of? Whenever there is some instrument, some reason for some action, then by means of. We are using by means of. Right? This lesson has been taught by means of a visual aid. You see, by means of a visual aid, this lesson has been taught. Right? So, there we are showing by means as an instrument. Through this I have taught. Via this I have taught. Using this I have taught. That way we are using by means of. In place of, it is a very nominal thing, very normal thing. We will be using, that is say for the opening batsman, we have some fixity. Who is that one? Earlier in yesteryears, this is probably, what is his name? Virendra Sehwag, right? And in place of Virendra Sehwag, nowadays we are having Kohli. Is it not? So, the opening batsman is replaced, right? Now, how do we say that sentence? In place of Virendra Sehwag, Kohli had come to open the match. That way we use it. So, now, in place of, right? And again, I can say, in place of teaching Hindi to you or English to you, today I want to teach you Hindi. In place. That way also. That means I am supposed to teach you something, but in that place I am teaching this. That way it comes in place of. Right? Say sometimes in place of mother, today my father cooked the food. That way also in place can be used. Now the fourth one, for the sake of. For the sake of God, please tell the truth. For the sake of God, please tell the truth. You see, okkada gurinchi, for something, for somebody, we have to do this for sake of. For the sake of the kid, mother sacrifices her free time. For the sake of you all people, your mother sacrifices her leisure time. For the sake of, for the reason, for the betterment of. Then that way we can use the prepositional phrases. Here under again this chapter we have the usage of a single word in adjective and adverb. So we should have a little a quick description about adjective and adverb. What is an adjective? Adjective we have already seen. It describes the noun. What is its position before the noun which it describes? Or maybe after the noun with a verb in between. Right? Mostly we can see after the common noun with a verb in between and the adjective. Right? And common noun, adjective. Adjective and common noun. That way they come at place of adjective. And now what is an adverb? Adverb describes a verb because verb is there. Add verb. That means this adverb adds something to the verb. What does it add? How it is done, where it is done, when it is done, why it has been done. The manner, the reason, the place and the time of the work done. That is adverb. Is it that's all? No. Also, it modifies an adjective. Good, very good. Good, very good. Quick, very quick. Right? That way we are using adverb to modify an adjective also. But here there is a difference again. An adverb is used in front of the adjective which it modifies. Once again, an adverb is used in front of the adjective which it modifies. Very good, very quick, very fast, very beautiful, not beautiful. Right? That way it is modifying the adjective and it is placed in front of the adjective. Second, with a verb, it almost always comes after the verb. He runs fast. He jumps quick. He jumps high. See, he jumps high. He jumps quick. He runs fast. He speaks well. He speaks well. That way, speaks is the verb and well is a adverb. Jumps, it is the verb, and high is the adverb. Verb and adverb, that is the sequence. And adverb, adjective, that is sequence. And again, adverb modifies adverb itself. An adverb modifies an adverb itself. Now we are seeing some of the words which can be used in both adjective and both this one adverb even. Both adjective and adverb. What are those words? You can see here enough, enough, fast, fast, right? Here quick, quick. Means there are certain words which by the placement we can determine whether they are adjectives or adverbs. Here in your book it has been shown about only enough, right? That is enough money and fast enough. Here you see run. The batsman did not run fast enough. This run is modified by this fast. Adverb. Enough. This is also one more adverb because this talks about this, not this. That enough word, it is modifying the word fast, not run. It does not have anything to say about this. It says everything about this. What is this? This comes after run. What is run? Verb. We have already seen where is the position of the adverb in a normal condition. Why I say normal condition is adverb has many positions in a given sentence. But in a normal position, it appears immediately after the verb which it modifies. Here, this is the verb, and immediately after this fast comes adverb, and enough comes over there, it is an adverb again here. That is fast enough, quick enough, bright enough. See, bright enough. Bright may be adjective, but after that we are using enough, and so it is adverb there again. Bright enough. Okay, that way we are using enough money when we are telling enough books. I did not eat enough. I did not eat enough. Right? I did not eat enough food. You see there, differences you see there. I did not eat enough. Eat is being modified by the word enough, and so enough is adverb. After that I am putting food. I did not eat enough food. So this enough is not talking anything about your eating. It is talking about the food, noun, and so that enough becomes adjective. Right? So likewise here, enough money I am talking about. Let us read the sentence. I do not have enough money to buy this property. Enough money. Money is noun. In front of that, enough comes adjective. Enough money. I did not have enough money to buy this property. Enough is qualifying this noun. It is an adjective. Here, fast enough. It is an adverb, and again it is an adverb because it is talking about this, not about this. Right? So, here enough is in the form of adverb. Now again let us see sentence 3. It is the only fast passenger train between Vijayawada and Secunderabad. Fast passenger. Passenger train or passenger, this is also adjective, train is noun. Right? Here fast passenger train. Fast train. Even if you delete this usage with this only, not with this. Right? That means what I want to say here is, it is not talking about this fast passenger. It is talking about this train, fast train. It may be a goods train or it may be a passenger train. But fast, it is qualifying this train. So this is adjective here, fast passenger train. Whereas they are fast enough, fast, it talks about run, and so it becomes a adverb. And for clarity we have here, he runs quick and catches the train. He runs. How does he run? Quick, the manner, the way. And so it is adverb. He runs quick. Quick is adverb here. We are not putting quickly. He runs quickly. No. He runs quick and catches the train. This quick is immediately after the verb which it modifies. Here it is adverb usage. Here, a quick fox jumps over a lazy dog. That is a very common sentence, and wonderingly we have all the alphabets here. All the 26 alphabets are present here. A quick fox jumps over a lazy dog. Right? So now this quick is qualifying this noun fox. Right? A quick fox jumps over a lazy dog. Here, this fox is being qualified by this quick, but not jumps. Quick jump, no, it is not quick jump. Even if it is quick jump, jump becomes a noun. Right? So here it is qualifying this noun, and so it's adjective. Means, what does this unit 2 and this enough using in adjective adverb says is, in English there are certain words which can be used both in adjective and adverb. And we should be very cautious while we are using it as a verb, as an adverb and as an adjective. Right? The correct usage is how to use it. After the verb, the word modifies, then that is adverb. Before the noun which it qualifies, then it is an adjective. Here we have seen enough, money. Money is now adjective. Fast enough. After this verb, after this adverb, we have used enough. That enough is adverb. Here, if you see, it is the only fast passenger train. This train is qualified by this adjective fast. So, adjective here. And here it is runs quick. How does he run? Runs quick. So, this quick is adverb, modifying this verb. And here a quick fox. Quick is there. Fox is there. Fox is now. That way, the usage, the placement or the words determine to which part of speech a certain word is falling under. Right? That is what we are learning under this chapter, enough. There are certain sentences and usage of enough here and there. You can see very carefully.